Number 1, dance is only for the young and flexible. 2, you need formal training to be a good dancer. 3, all dancers are naturally graceful. 4, dancing is not a real workout. 5, dancing is all about memorizing steps.
Hello, dance lovers. I'm Junior Enrique.
I'm Ana Luisa Luisi. We are the Brazilian couple
And this is Dance is the Answer podcast.
with our guest, Humberto Teixeira.
That
pleasure
could
to
be
be
jingle.
back.
How are you guys? What's up?
Very good.
Very good.
How is you? How are you, Anna?
I'm good too.
I'm good,
I
you?
was just in the middle of my...
Very good. You? No,
Okay, that's very productive talk. Thanks for watching.
I'll see
Bye,
you guys
guys.
next week.
Yeah, so it's been raining like crazy here. People are like very happy about fall. Oh, I love the fall. And then it's like pouring rain
Who are
every
those
day.
people?
A lot of people. I like the summer better, but
I
it's-
like the colors of the fall.
That's true.
I like the colors.
I do remember this park in Danville.
Yeah.
In New Jersey.
It was beautiful in New Jersey. Yeah, colorful and beautiful in the fall. I'm thinking maybe
New Jersey is the
choreography.
garden
It's a garden state.
right?
A
we
lot of
have
people do-
beautiful parks.
And there's people doing all of the photo shoots. I mean, they're just waiting for the rain to get over.
Yeah.
And then they're going to start doing photo shoots because everything about,
Yeah, it's
pumpkin
beautiful.
and
Yeah.
Halloween and all of that.
All the leaves, the orange and yellow, all the colors, red
Right.
leaves
Yes.
falling.
It's a nice
actually
time.
beautiful, yeah.
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 It is beautiful.
Yeah.
Very good time for mushrooms too. No, the fall is the best time for mushrooms.
Yeah.
Don't pick up mushrooms. Don't pick up mushrooms on the
What, on the
on the
ground?
state because here is like New Jersey is crazy. So there's thousands of varieties. You can really every day there's somebody in the hospital with poisoning from mushrooms in
Really?
New Jersey. Yeah, something like that.
Are they cooking them or they're just doing tea?
Even if you cook it, it's that post-stat means that you should cook all mushrooms no matter what.
Really?
But
Oh, really? Even the
cooked
ones that
some-
we buy?
I cooked some yesterday.
I
and
love
and
to
I-
eat
and it-
mushrooms
no, but wait,
with
I
hummus.
don't
No,
want
he's
to talk
talking
about
about
it.
the one that's like
no.
No,
Any
mushrooms.
But I think we're gonna have to edit this
Why?
because when he say this on the podcast, he decide to cut what he said and not talk anymore because his life is in danger by talking about this.
No, we don't understand much about it, so it's okay.
I don't even know who we're talking about.
Yeah, I don't even.
okay.
I want to cut that. I'm afraid about my life. No, but that's not a joke.
Yeah.
If I show you guys,
So let's change the subject. It's all good.
Guys, don't do mushrooms.
But I like, no. When
But if you
say,
do it in the dark room, 5 grams, it's Saturday night. 5 grams in the dark.
I like
Empty stomach.
the mushrooms with hummus. Raw.
That
Is
is
that
delicious,
bad?
yeah.
Yes. No. Well,
But you
no,
say
I
we
think
should
it's fine.
cook all
No,
mushrooms.
stop talking about that.
He's
I'm
probably someone.
completely lost in
He's
this
probably
conversation.
someone that cannot talk about that.
Yes,
Yes. We don't know
Yes,
anything about it,
yes.
so it's all good.
No, I just talk about mushrooms because it's very colorful and cute.
It's not
Mushroom is colorful.
They are very colorful. Purple, green.
Really?
Every there's
know only
many,
the brown
many
ones.
variety.
I only know, the white.
I know the
that we
brown-
buy
the
in
white and brown.
store.
Yeah, no, in the store.
Oh,
yeah.
so the one from Smurfy's, the red one, they exist.
The red one is the Amanita muscari.
Oh, I
And
didn't know.
it's the Santa Claus mushroom, né?
No
Ooh,
idea.
I have no idea.
Yeah, it seems like it has some theory about it that the reindeer likes to eat this mushroom and
Right.
Amanita, and this mushroom grows in the North Pole. No, I shouldn't be talking about. Why not? Né? It's
Why
okay.
not? It's all good.
When we are talking about mushrooms, I was making a joke about psychedelic mushrooms. That's
Yeah.
Right.
or magic mushrooms, or some people call. And I was kidding because in the fall is the moment that
Oh, really?
That they
are,
grow?
Yes, they
That
grow.
they're ready for consume? Yeah.
They're illegal. They're
For
illegal.
teas. Yeah.
Yeah, no, so yeah, people do use it for. I believe in New Jersey now, you can go to a psychiatrist and have treatment with mushrooms
Right.
or with a psychedelic.
For that purpose,
drug.
yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Trauma, childhood trauma, and things like this. It's useful. It's scientifically proven that
Proven
it
to help.
It helps. But yeah, people go and try to eat from the
That's crazy.
walk in they are hiking, and then they see this mushroom. Oh my God, it looks very attractive, and your liver just go.
Eu
"Meow."
vi gnomo.
No, but yeah, if it's the good one, yes, you will
Go places.
talk to your grandpa, or like Terence McKenna say, like, come in, little green man, come in, little green man. On the Amazon is the ayahuasca thing,
Right.
this whole world that we're talking about, which is
Yeah.
not our world. Even though you can have a psychedelic experience by watching a beautiful Swan Lake.
That's the
True.
thing.
Or
Sometimes you
Carmen,
don't
the
need
opera or something beautiful
Yeah.
opera.
You don't
can
need
have
anything.
A
You don't need to-
transcendental
you don't need to
experience.
take anything in order to have a trip, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like you just have to wake up that feeling by yourself or with you know.
Also, I'm not against trying to push this. Like, let's say you have a crazy trauma, some accident, or even like some person that went to war. Sometimes they can't deal with
the pain.
and then one treatment is maybe with psychotherapy together. The person can have a normal life now. You know,
Because
like so. I
it
believe the
gives you-
psychedelics can really help if you know how where you're going. And now, like I say, doctors can help you with this.
It
So-
changed the level of whatever you're feeling, right?
But
It's a
that's the
punch.
thing. When you know where you're going, how would you know? How would you trust? You know, it's like the
Right.
same as a good doctor and a bad doctor.
Yes. Yes.
So it's a very dangerous place.
It is.
To access and to trust
Yeah.
your life to someone else, right? I guess with doctors are the same.
Yeah.
If you think
Guess
about
we'll never
it,
know.
we put ourselves in the hand of doctors to do surgeries and things like.
That's why I say it's better. To do maximum you can for your health.
Yeah,
And the day that you need a doctor, better go to a very good one.
and pray.
My first doctor I went to see for the hip, I saw him a couple times and I was like, yeah, it's too in pain and I need more physical therapy. And he was like, yeah, I know, we have the option of shaving your bone a little bit just to give a little room. And I was like, no, I'm not going to shave my
Scary.
bone. And
but,
Yeah, but that's why there's
some
procedures
sort
that
of-
really help. Yeah.
Yeah,
of
some
course, there's
sort
a
of-
place for everything. Yeah.
Some treatments the person needs to shave the bone.
I know, but I feel like sometimes it's very easy to just say, yeah, let's do this, let's try this, because let's just try. But it's more than that. It's more than just say like, yes, I accept it, doctor, let's do it.
No,
You know what I mean?
yes.
You need
I
to be
understand
able
what
to
you're saying.
you need
I
to
don't
be able
think-
to learn more about it and then really make your decision.
I don't think that's because it's easy for them to say. I think it's very common for them to see patients with the same
Right.
type of issue. But you are this one person
Who can-
dealing with it, which is your first time having to deal with this situation. Then for you, it's in another level. But for them, it's something that they do it
Yeah.
3 times a day.
And as much as I did look for answers for my problem, for my how could I-
Injury.
my injury, I find out that mobility, learning how to move, it's the answer. Like yesterday I went to the gym and I was stretching and I was like doing my own exercise. Not only stretch, passive stretch, but like stretch in a way that I make the muscle stronger and everything, my joints stronger. I really find that the answer every time I'm doing that work. So it's like mobility, it is. Most of the time. At least for me. If I don't move, it gets worse.
Yeah. Some people have the tendency to rely too much on somebody to help them. Yes, and you have to know where is the until when is healthy dynamic.
Right.
Yeah, like if the person is just giving you pills all the time, I don't know. I don't want to say anything against that because I'm not a doctor. And it like for some people, like a psychiatrist, like for some people that cannot function normally in life, sometimes psychiatrists with the right supplementation or whatever they are doing, it can help.
Right.
Yeah, but also we know this people that are just like, oh, take this, oh, take that,
Right.
oh, no, you don't have to change your diet. Oh, you don't
Yeah.
need, and exercise, yeah, it might help you, like this.
But
And-
the pills are more important,
yeah,
right?
so if
That's
that,
also a commercial, right?
Yeah.
It's a whole industry
Of course, of
behind
course.
it
Yeah.
too.
Don't take the pill, like just drink it and then you'll be fine. I
Ah, yeah,
remember
yeah.
twisting my foot, my right foot, many times. And the first time I heard about an injection was another dancer just told me. I was probably like 17 years old, 18. And then I twisted my foot and I had to perform with the company. It was like the beginning of my performance, my career with the company. And I really was proud to be part of the group, you know? So I was like, no, I'm not gonna miss this opportunity. So I went to the doctor and I got the Voltaren shot. But at some point, before I did it, I was like, it's too invasive, like I shouldn't do this because I know it's hurt my foot. Like, how this is gonna take all of the pain? And it was like night and day, the difference. My feet, I had no pain. And I was dancing again, but it was swollen.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Took
And
the
then
inflammation.
when the medicine
I mean, actually, because
was
I was
gone?
young, slowly it got better. I didn't even know how, but it got better. But what I'm saying is, it's too aggressive to treat the pain just with painkillers.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I people say this sometimes about neurolinguistic programming that I just fix at the moment.
Yeah.
But if you are suffering for a long time, fixing for a moment
It's a
would
relief.
be wonderful. You
Right,
know, like,
but-
and then you can finally sit and realize what to do. But if you're just but then, like, we have people, example in our family about people that would
Take pills.
just take pills,
A lot of
and they get
times,
worse little by little. Yeah.
because a lot of times it's very psychological because the placebo.
Yeah.
They do tests and they run, this group of people, they have the same disease or problem. And these get the real medicine, these get the placebo. And sometimes they have the same results.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
sometimes.
Not sometimes, most of the time.
Most of the time.
Many times. That's why I was going to say Wayne Dyer, Excuses Be Gone, the program. There he talk about a doctor that he have like, I think 100 patients, something like this, 50, something. The number might be around that. And half of the patient, everybody with knee problem. Half have surgery. Half pretend to have surgery.
Just open and close.
And they have very similar results with the healing. Well, the people that didn't have surgery, but they told them they have surgery, they say, "Oh, my knee is much better after the surgery."
Right.
You know, so the placebo, of course, you need to really be careful because some people like me are very suggestive,
Right.
and let's say it's very good for me to eat garlic. And then suddenly I'm eating so much garlic, people cannot be around me. Also, I have digestion problem after that because, so like there's people that they believe like my mom.
Oh, this is good, and she's only eating
and
that.
once she was realized that somebody said to her on the TV that she have to drink so much water, and she was, and I remember a friend of mine that's a biologist saying, Humberto, if you drink too much, you also take too much minerals from your body. So, but water is good for you. Okay, I'm gonna have 5 liters of water a day, and then your kidney or your livers are overwhelmed, and so that's why it's important to know who you are and what you want to do,
What you need.
what you really
Well,
need.
anything exaggerated in life, I think the word exaggerated, it's already,
An exaggeration.
yeah. So,
And- yeah, exactly, and bodybuilding, the steroids.
Right.
Professional guy know what he's doing. He have a diet to not have a crazy his skin is good and everything. Have a good diet, but amateurs. So if I'm gonna be Superman if I put steroid, and
Yeah.
then the guy destroy his life of 50 years old, 40 years old, dying from heart attack or something like this. But because
Yeah.
they, like, they only gonna make me strong.
That happens with plastic surgery.
that.
Anything. Like if you really get into it and you think it's going to change your whole life with anything from outside, not just your body or natural food, you go crazy.
Go crazy.
You see some people that went too far because
One
they
procedure,
get
2,
addicted.
3, 4, 5, 6. When you see you're like 100 procedures already.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
it's fine.
It's fine. but
Everyone should do whatever they want to.
Exactly.
But it's good to have the balance because I know friends that did tattoos, many tattoos, and now they're trying to cover them.
Everything in exaggeration. We should always like
Moderation is
try
the best. yeah.
to have a limit for
Right.
everything, so we don't.
The point is like many times we do things without thinking the future.
Right.
We're just like very emotional about the moment and we want to live this moment. I have a friend that he made a tattoo of his girlfriend here. And they broke up 6 months after that. That is the rest of
It's
his
too
life
intense.
with this painful tattoo, like.
Yeah, when you're doing impulsive, right?
Yeah.
We should always have a chance to think about it, even if for a split of a second.
Or at least try to think before doing things.
People
it's
say
hard.
sit on it, dance on it.
Dance on
Yeah.
it. Oh, that's
That
good.
is a technique on NLP, the dance score. And you every time you get in the point, you do a little dance. And like telling, it's about a strategy or something like that.
Yes.
Yes, dance on it.
If you
Instead
feel
of getting
if you feel anxiety, dance on it.
dance on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they say sleep on it.
Sleep
too.
on
And
it.
they say sleep on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
All right, so I'll pull up 5 interesting. I mean, Google call it myths, and we agree that is more of a limiting belief. Those those phrases that I'm gonna read now, and I think is in the good topic because we're talking about beliefs, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Both sides.
So
There's always a two side of everything.
or 3 or 4.
Oh
or
yeah,
5.
true.
In my case, that is many
A
sides
million.
Of it. Yeah.
We create realities.
I
I have many realities of my life, and it's good. I don't get bored.
Sometimes you leave there for too long, and I'm like,
he's
well,
like-
where are you?
Yeah.
We are not leaving the
No,
same space.
we need to integrate. This is why I dance, dancing, yoga, or meditation, or your passion, that the art that you concentrate to integrate yourself, pull
Right.
yourself together. Otherwise, I am this type of person that I'm always in a supermarket thinking which one I should,
Oh man, tell me about it.
pasta or rice, Like,
Anna, Anna, should I get this or this? And I call her on FaceTime so she can see it.
I think this
Junior,
is all
it's okay. I'm
men
doing
on
something.
Earth.
I think it's a
They
man
do
thing.
this
What?
with the wives,
I think guys are
No,
like this.
man, very good to make choices. The problem is when we are together with our wives,
or in the
we
supermarket.
are a little bit like agree. We try
We
to get
rely
agree. Yeah.
on them. That's not cool, but it makes it easier. because
For
because you want to be a leader.
Easier
That's the
for
thing.
you.
Oh,
I feel like sometimes Anna, because she's very strong
I want
personality,
nothing.
she wants. Maybe she doesn't want it. She always tells me like, I didn't want that, but that's what she wanted at the moment. So
what? The food.
Let's say-
like whatever you guys.
let's
are,
say we're
buying.
gonna buy something.
Uh-huh.
She has a very strong opinion about it, and then I'm like, oh, okay, so let's go towards whatever she already is into it, right? And then if I say something else, it's not what she wanted. And then later on, if she wants to change her mind, she's still gonna be right about that.
No, that
Was I clear about that?
Yeah,
No.
no, actually, you make me very confused now.
I think I got confused too. So
No, but
let me
do-
give
do
another.
a real example.
You
Another
have
example.
to tell her like this. Let's agree to disagree.
Let's say when I lose something at home, when I don't find something, don't you see it's right here? Like it's right in front of you.
Because he usually is.
And then the other day, let's say the cap of the camera, it was somewhere. Junior, where did you put this? Anna, I don't remember taking that away. I didn't do it. And then she find in her bag the thing.
I didn't find in my bag. No, because why are we talking about that?
Yeah, why
I
are
don't
we
know.
talking? Why?
I don't know, babe. I'm not arguing. I'm just saying
I'm
the
He's
difference.
just trying to
saying-
explain to you his excuse that
It's a-
he wants you to lead the house.
No, it's
I don't want that.
A very
Don't put words.
a
in my
very
mouth.
simple example
But
is
say you gonna be the leader of the house.
No, she
And
has
what you
a very
gonna do?
strong opinion, so it's good.
a
I like that.
very simple example is the remote control.
That-
We have a
yeah.
place to put all the remote control because everybody lose the remote control if you keep switching places. You go to the
Especially
kitchen.
my
you-
family that we are
No,
changing
Humberto,
our...
our family and every other family. Don't worry about
Everybody
Okay,
loses.
that.
okay.
Everybody's like that.
We have a box near the couch
Yeah.
that all the remotes are there.
She found it.
All the remotes are there. There you
That
go.
one.
No,
That
I
one.
don't know.
So Anna, whenever she has the remote,
Yeah.
she always
Put
put
it back.
back there.
True.
So we don't have, whenever we have to watch the
You're
TV
talking
again,
about yourself on the third position, on the third
we have,
person.
we
Yeah.
know, I know exactly where to look for it. Junior, on the other hand, if he's the last one that used the TV, the remote could be in the bathroom, inside the
In my
couch,
In the pocket.
My
yeah,
pocket.
my too.
in the on the top of the fridge. It could be anywhere.
One
so
day
we
I went
waste
to work
1
with
hour
a-
to look for it.
True.
And then he gets upset when I say, "But why did you put the remote on the box?" Because it's like a car key. If you put every time you get home or a home key in the same place, it becomes an automatic thing. You don't have to think where you put it because you always put it in the same place. But if you put it in your pocket, in some jacket, and then you're going to use the other jacket, and then you have to remember, when was the last time I did it? This is such a waste of time
True.
and
Yeah.
energy that I'm already even tired
I
just to
agree.
say that.
No, I agree.
So let's go back to the
I just want.
sentence.
I just want to.
Look,
I wish I was good to do that, but it's. I
The
do.
couple-
Sometimes I do.
my-
Don't get me wrong. Sometimes I'm very good with that. Sometimes I forget.
It's something so simple to do.
Oh, I
You look
cannot
at-
say
you're
anything
looking at
because
me, Humberto.
sometimes I don't know even where I live. One day
He's looking at me
one
like,
day I
"What are
did
you
so
doing,
much.
Junior?"
I taught like many classes and there was so much stretching and breathing techniques that I didn't know where I live. I
You
have
lost-
to stop.
You lost track.
What? Yeah. No, but I remember Brian Tracy again on this the joke about the not joke, but he telling the story about the wife that she arrived home and you were like reading the newspapers and she started to tell you things and the story and you say okay all right
Oh, I do that.
Okay until she say
What did I tell
you're
you?
not listening to me. I said, oh, what? And he say, you do like all good men do. You slap this old newspaper and say, all good men do. And you say, no, of course I was hearing you, listen to you. And then you feel the chill from the rooms. And then she say, what did I say?
You don't want to hear that. That's the worst. When Anna's like, okay, so what did I say?
And then he goes with something very
From the
random, like
beginning.
one word that I said. I say, what about it? He
She always
cannot
catch me.
develop.
Yeah, like this.
develop.
She always get me with those, and I'm like, oh man, sorry, Anna, I'm gonna listen now. Okay, now I will. Tell me everything.
Okay, so limiting beliefs about dance. Let's say if you agree completely, if you disagree completely, or if there is a gray line. Number 1. I'm going to read 1 to 5.
Okay.
And then I'll go back to each of it.
Okay.
Number 1. Dance is only for the young and flexible. 2. You need formal training to be a good dancer. 3. All dancers are naturally graceful. 4. Dancing is not a real workout. 5. Dancing is all about memorizing steps. All right, so let's talk about number 1.
I feel like
Dance is only for the young and flexible.
Like me.
that's what I'm saying. I feel like parts of me agree with that, parts of me don't. And dance is only for the young and flexible. I feel like it's not.
I disagree as well.
Do you agree or disagree?
Just a simple answer. Agree or disagrey?
I
Dance
don't know,
is
because-
only for the young and flexible.
No, not only, but look,
Exactly.
But I know people that are extremely, their age are like 80s and they are very young and move like young. And I know people that are like 18 and they're stiff, they cannot even touch their toes.
True.
So it also young in my idea in case
I think in this
it's-
case, let's pretend we're talking about age, exclusively age, the young age. So is dance only for the young and flexible.
No.
No.
Yeah. And is that a limiting belief?
If you think it's just for the young, in my case, if I use the analogy of young being a good mobility and health body, you can also even become younger after you're older
Right.
by learning
When you're
to
not
move.
talking about age.
And also
Yeah,
age.
That's why
Right.
age.
It
I
depends
never
on the
talk about
age.
age because age in India, in some places, is for depends on the flexibility of your spine. In other places, the hip mobility. So, but I understand you're thinking about chronologic age,
Right.
like
No,
numbers.
no. I'm saying I think what they meant with this phrase, they meant about age. I think it's not only for the young
Yeah,
and flexible because what happens when we get older, right? I mean, me, for example, I feel I'm actually a much better dancer now than when I was younger. And I'm being really, really honest here. When I was 15, I was a great student. I was talented. But I feel like I'm much better dancer now.
Yeah, but you didn't start now, right? You start when you're young. So
That's
there's
not the question. Is not saying dance is only until you start. Dance is only for the young and flexible. That's a lie.
Yeah, because I feel like this question is too strict. So there is, of course, I understand what you're saying,
And
and I
I
agree.
feel like flexibility, you can always work to get better. You can always better your oil in the motor, right? So there's always room to improve. And if there's room to improve, you can improve as you get older as well.
Yeah, that's why in my case, if a person say to me, because I'm not young anymore, and then I say, so then let's become a little younger.
Right.
So more flexible, better mobility. Let's change maybe a little bit of
Exactly.
your habits, and you sleep well if you're sleeping well, and things like this. And then you start to feel younger. But you think that just a person that's because
No.
they are on their 20s, they can dance better. Yeah, but when you're younger, your body is stronger.
Yes.
Yes. But how many people we know that can keep for a long time a very strong and flexible body?
And I
Yeah.
feel
We
like
know dancers and we know also athletes. We know people like
Yeah.
this.
Right.
So yeah, dance is not just for the young and flexible.
No.
But it's good to be flexible
It's
young.
good. It's good to start
Yeah.
when you're very young. In my case, I started dancing after being obese for so many years.
But you're talking about
So I started
to be a
when I was
professional
14,
dancer.
15. No, really taking class, I was early teen. My early teen. So
But were you dancing before that? Anything else? Lambada?
not formal training, but yeah, I was
We're not
dancing.
talking about the formal training yet, maybe. Well, you're dancing before, right? You're talking now that you started ballet, classical ballet in that age. But were you dancing before?
I always danced.
Yeah.
So yes, I agree with Anna.
No, but look, nobody.
No, I'm
there
not
is a,
trying
there is
to
a contradiction
win
there.
anything. It's
No,
just-
there's a contradiction there. Why? Because if you're talking about flexibility, why a normal person that don't do formal dancing need
No, but
flexibility?
we're not in the formal dancing yet, guys. We're in the first
No,
one.
exactly. That's
Oh.
what I'm saying. This is flexible, right?
Young
if
and
we're
flexible.
not talking about formal dancing, what we're talking about flexible? A person that is just dance don't even know what flexibility
They have
means.
no
Yeah.
idea what it is. Yeah.
Oh, I think because they have this image in their head that all dancers are flexible and they can do crazy
That's
stuff.
right.
Yeah.
When they see what they see the dance that are technical. They
The
saw
ballet,
somewhere.
and the legs
you know,
up and all
yeah.
of that.
No, only ballet, like other type of dancers too. Like hip hop dancers, they do crazy stuff in the floor. You gotta, I believe you have to have some type of flexibility to do that. I think they think, but I agree it's a limiting belief because it's just an excuse for them not to try.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, you're not gonna start doing.
I think
those
someone
things.
that dance won't say that. I think someone that say or created this right, like, oh, it's just for the young and the flexible. It's someone that probably, or I don't say someone just invented this, but of course it did. But it's people that don't really know what they can do as
No,
dancers,
maybe
or not even became dancers, or
Those
are
are
afraid
just-
of.
Those are
you know.
just phrases.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't-
No, I
don't-
No,
get
but
it.
Yeah.
if somebody come to me to learn this and arrogantly being rude, say to me, dance is just for flexible young. I will not waste my time explaining
Right.
anything
Exactly.
to this person.
Exactly.
But if somebody genuinely say to me, Humberto, somebody
Is
said
it-
to me that dance is just for flexible people and young people, is that true? And he's like around 40s.
Right.
And then I have a beautiful explanation for this person to make them dance and to convince
Right,
them to
So
right.
do
dance.
it. Do the
Yes.
explanation now.
Yeah. So, flexibility is not important for me as much as mobility.
Mm-hmm.
I know many people that are flexible, they keep getting injured and things. And flexibility is, but anyway, the word is there. The old texts on yoga, none of them, no text in yoga talk about flexibility. Talking about open up. Yeah. So
Creating room, right?
Yes. And like I say, young in this world, immense universe, age is meaningless
not- yeah.
for me. Chronological.
Right.
Even though you are aging, you have to accept that. You have
Right.
to. But if you learn to do that with grace, with learning dance or a style of yoga, or I say the word yoga, but I'm talking about activities like meditation or walking on the park or going to a CrossFit class or whatever is your activity, but to dedicate to that and become younger. So that's why I'm saying my explanation for a person that wants to dance. When I left ballet, when my teacher, the master that I work with, when he left the company where we were working, was like hit us very hard. It was very hard. And I asked him, so what is the advice? I don't know what I'm going to do now. You know, is the person that you dedicate so many years and you want to listen. What should I do with my career now? And then he said to me, you can always be more flexible and stronger. Technique can always be better.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. So a person that never danced, that think that the dancing is just for young and I mean, if your goal is to go to the ABT as principal dancer and you're 45, you never took dance,
That's not gonna happen.
we need a
different
miracle
story.
here. Yeah, we need a
Right.
miracle for that.
No,
but to dance freely,
Yeah.
to really
Dance
go
is
deep
for
into
everyone.
yourself and make yourself better with the art of movement and dance.
And plus,
You can
like
do
you
that.
said before, dance makes you young. Like sometimes I feel like I'm still the dancer that I used to be when I started, and dance always brings me that feeling of it that I used to feel there.
And one thing about what Anna was saying, that's the balance of it, is to know, because what happened? Sometimes you're too young to understand, even though you're strong. Sometimes you're already too old and getting weaker. So how to balance it out?
Right.
Because there is a belief that we are getting like a machine, we're aging. But I know martial artists that at their 70 and 80s, they can move like 20-year-old people. Because, and I believe it's maintenance, is good health, good lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's a lifestyle,
So
yeah.
your body, a person before on our age would not keep dancing for that long. Yeah. But today,
Yeah.
people at 40s have the body much younger, we know much more about how to maintain,
Right.
how to reset. So your experience as artist now is much better.
Yeah.
And if you did like you did, which is not get injured so many times and have to stop for months and 6 months and years because you didn't do this, today you can enjoy being a very pure artist on stage without having like, oh my God, tomorrow I'm not
Right.
gonna even walk. Yeah, because if we see the dancers the idols from our time, they were dancing for their lives.
Right.
Some are
was like
addicted
now
to
or
drugs,
never.
other ones are
Yeah.
suicidal, other ones were like living the life of like a
Right. Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Let's go for number 2. You need formal training to be a good dancer.
we are like
Let Anna talk first because we want to agree with her.
No, I don't want that. I just because I take things literally, I think.
That's yeah.
So
No,
when
and
I
I
read,
think that's cool
so
because-
when I read the sentence, they're words that make the sentence false for me.
Like what? Say again.
Like a good dancer, for me, I'm not thinking about. Is not saying here professional dancer or anything. It's saying you need formal training to be a good dancer. I disagree because I know people who never trained and they are good dancers in my eyes.
Makes sense.
And they are good dancers and then dance good. They have rhythm. They go to parties and they take the floor and they have talent. I guess I could call it talent.
I agree 100% with
But
you.
of course, if you're talking about being a better dancer than and to compete and or to be
Or
a
become
professional,
or become
then of course.
good in the eyes of a technical person, a
Exactly.
teacher.
Or a style.
Because this guy, like I remember a long time ago, I have a teacher from some more popular Latin dance, but he never did have classical contemporary training. And he came to my class improvisation, and everybody, like they gave him all the students gave him like an ovation on the end of the class, and he was not a dancer. He danced popular dance, but he learned
Great mover.
and he started to move and he
Yeah.
started to breathe, and was so pure on what he was doing, and everybody trying to think about the technique and everything. He danced
Yeah.
beautifully. Yeah, this is very interesting.
That's-
because-
that's it,
So
yeah.
that's the case you're saying. But that's right. If I take him and bring him to a company in classical ballet company, he even
needs the
though
formal training, yeah.
Some
Yeah,
of us
so-
think that he's a good dancer.
Right.
The people in the company will be sure in there 100% that he's not a
And it
good dancer.
depends.
You know,
And
like
I
they're gonna
get,
be
I get what.
Good?
But
What do you mean?
the same way, a beautiful classical ballet dancer probably cannot dance.
Oh, I know many
Popular
easily.
things.
I know many.
That's the thing. When you learn classical ballet, this is what I say for martial arts too. When you learn classical ballet, you figure out the system. And any dance you can learn. Unless you are very stiff
Right.
classical ballet that never open your mind.
And I think it's
just train like this.
And I think
But
it's
I know classical dancers that like Cicero. Cicero is a guy that he could learn anything. And he's a little bit crazy because he would be better than the person that taught him. You know, like he would just
Talented.
become this thing. Yeah.
right.
But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Sometimes like we know pure classical dancers that we work with that
I think-
they cannot do
I feel
one,
like-
They are
two,
very
one,
stiff
two,
doing
one,
other
two.
styles.
Yeah.
To dance, you don't. To be a great dancer, a great mover, you don't need training. Although you train at home, you train by yourself. You train in going to parties. You have it somehow. I remember being a kid and trying things, how to move, listen to music. You don't wake up and just. Of course, you train a little bit. It's not formal, but you train a little bit. And I understand what Anna's saying is that you don't need formal training to be a good mover, a good dancer. Not at all. But in order to become a professional dancer, if this involves
Not just
that,
a
Not even
professional too.
professional, yeah.
Just
Not
to be
even
good, yeah.
To be better, to get better, to
Yeah.
have a
Oh.
better options.
Like
to move better,
like
yeah.
think about in literature. Yeah? If you what's the master say? Go read the classics. Yeah, martial arts people a little bit like say that the classics no, go study some classical martial arts and bring it to your sport.
right?
And like people from MMA. So same thing with us. Or with music. A guy that is like, let's say, he played in a rock and roll band for his 5 years. Start to take classical guitar class 3 times a week. 1 year after, 5 years, or 2 years after, he is playing in another level. And he's figuring out things that before he had not even idea exist. So
Right.
classical ballet, I feel it gives you this. But guys, we need to remember that classical ballet suffer a lot of, how can I say, it became the bad guy a little bit.
Like what?
Yes, like from the contemporary, modern, and musical theater.
It's too
Classical
square.
ballet is a little bit like a,
It's too square.
you know, like oh,
Yeah.
that's not
Too
but,
strict,
But I just
I
see
would
as a
say.
tool, as
Yeah.
a tool.
Right.
Like the same way you learn
know
as
what's
contemporary as a tool for your dancing for your dance. Ballet is just also a model for you to
Right.
to.
This reminded me of when we used to do Broadway auditions.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't remember who was the choreographer, but was someone that worked with us in the company that we were dancing, and then he was doing this audition. He liked me and everything, and I did all the cuts. And then one of the dancers, after in the restroom, we were changing. We don't get the answer right away, right? And then she was, for me, oh, you were a beautiful dancer. And it was a Broadway audition. So we were wearing heels and everything, doing Broadway steps, like musical steps, nothing classical. But she's like, you're a beautiful dancer, but you're too classical.
It's true. That sometimes that
And
happens.
I took that because that was true. That was actually very true. And then I took that, I understood that that's a good tool for me to have, but that was not, I had to show something else and not just being elegant. And like, I have that. Now I know that I have that even in our videos. I have that as a very good advantage.
Ballet gave you that.
Especially with arms, I guess. I can see like my arms moves very well. But it's not like you cannot point and say, oh, she's a ballerina. Maybe they say, oh, she was a ballerina. Because now I know how to use it just enough to enhance it, but not. And I think in that time when we started, I was kind of proud to be a ballerina.
Yeah,
and I want
posing.
to, like.
And also in some auditions, this could work too.
No, totally.
It depends on the audition.
That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
But it was funny that took another dancer, musical theater dancer, to tell that to me, and that kind of, like you said, downloaded
And
something on me.
some messages
Like,
we get, Anna.
I got it.
Some of the comments we
You
get
know?
is that, oh, they're great dancers. But yeah, I'm sure they have, they're trained dancers. So they assume that we're trained dancers because of that. Like you're saying, there's many years of ballet. So I agree with Anna. Like, you don't need to be a trained dancer.
You can be a good dancer, but when you have formal training,
It would enhance your movements, and that's it.
Yes, you would be better for sure.
Yeah.
So
No,
you
and
see,
also
both sides.
look. It's funny. I keep going back to martial arts, but it's very similar. You should your goal. The best way would be to have available whatever you need, so you can move honestly. Yeah, like that's why in classical ballet, you don't say hi.
You
It's
say
much more.
Yeah.
So it's available for me. A nice line,
Right.
like you have good feet and is available for me, but I don't need it. And when you
Right.
can almost cross the lines, people get attracted to what they're
Yeah.
watching.
Right.
But if you have a little stereotype,
Yeah.
Yes.
so like, oh, I'm a ballerina and you're doing too much, or I'm more like
you rely on that only. Yeah.
Same thing you can see with hip hop contemporary dancers. They gonna dance a contemporary dance, but there's like so many elements from hip hop on the dance that
It's a mix.
people that are more contemporary go like, this is kind of a hip hop solo. You know?
But you know,
But
this is what
if
happened
you
to Anna and
learn
I.
to kind of
But remember-
play
That's
with
the
that
superpower.
and try this,
Humberto.
take this out, put this, and
Our kitchen
balance.
dance, whenever
Magic.
we do, like
Yeah.
let's say we're gonna do a salsa dance, we get a lot of our followers commenting and saying like, oh, I love this is great, I want to learn this and that. But we get some people that say like, that's not salsa, that's
like
not
that,
bachata,
like that.
that's not only bachata, there's some mix of other
Yeah,
things
exactly,
there.
exactly.
So we kind of embrace
Which is true.
forró,
We mixed it.
salsa,
Bruce Lee,
bachata,
going back to Bruce
everything.
Lee, you are you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
That's
the
it.
skills that you learn, there are you. That's why I'm saying sometimes I'm a ballet dancer, or I'm a contemporary, I'm a hip hop, or I'm
Right.
no, I'm a human being.
Yeah.
One time when I was eating only vegan food for a long time, I was a little annoyed by people too much of. Oh, I'm a vegan. And then one dancer came to me and said, are you vegan? I said, no, I'm Humberto.
There you
because,
go.
Because
it's
it's,
true.
I like
it's
that.
too much
I'm being
putting a tag
vegan.
on
Yeah.
you are
Yeah.
like this. But if I, guys, seriously, if I want to
Humberto.
clean my diet, go
Anna-
vegan a little bit. Why
Anna-
not?
Anna
A
was
little
seeing-
bit. And then go back to eat normal. But
Yeah.
sometimes you eat so much processed food that sometimes stay away from animal products for a while help you. Of course, if you stay away from animal products and you're
Right.
eating just bread, pasta, and processed, it's not going to help. I'm
Yeah.
talking about plant-based vegetables, and then go back
Yeah.
to your normal diet. People see it now. Oh, now I'm vegan. I have to protect the vegan community, and it's so much like stressful to.
It's
Yeah.
simpler than
so,
that.
yeah,
It could
same
be.
with dance.
It's not easy. It could
Just
be
how
much
many
simpler.
people we know that would not have a career, but they dance with such a love and passion,
Yeah.
and how many amazing dancers that we went to watch and we left upset
Yeah.
because they were empty inside. This day they were tired.
And I feel like that's in everything.
In
If you
everything,
don't do
yeah.
what you love, and that's the thing. If you want to be a dancer, if the question is you want to be a dancer, just dance.
And
If you want training, put it on the training. Get the
That
training.
too, that too. But how about the presupposition that we all dance? We all have the dance inside.
Yeah.
And how about if using dance, physical system, learning a systematic way to move and dance, loosen up my body? What if this could be the trigger for a better life for me? Instead of like because that's exactly a person that's thinking is for just for the flexible. Sometimes this person is for years thinking about dancing.
Yeah.
And I go back to the example of the lawyer or the guy that is going to give speeches in front of many people. Learn dance is magic for him.
Right.
Né? To learn to control his body, but also for people that want to feel good about their body,
Right.
to get a good break a sweat. I think we have one more
We
about
have,
the
yes.
workout.
All dancers are naturally graceful.
No. No.
Yeah, no,
No. But they can work on it.
Yeah.
They can work to
is a
become
learning skill.
Learning
Yes.
skill.
Yeah.
It takes
I don't think
training.
you have to say anything
Some
else.
people will be born with it. Some people will need to train for that.
Anything that's natural, to be honest. Like when I said talent. Like what's talent? Something that it comes naturally to someone. But then to develop that talent, there will be another studying,
Right.
right?
Yes.
More deep into that.
How many students we have that we see and we're like, wow, I'm in love with that
Yeah,
student.
no, that's yeah.
It's such a beautiful.
Guys,
look at.
I
let
watch
me
too
finish.
much. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Let me see. Look at her arms. And Anna and I, we used to teach. We all teach in the same conservatory, and we used to see that some amazing dancers and young dancers, and we were like, oh, we love that dancer. Oh, we love that one. And then sometimes, at some point, you start to only see that. There's no results over the months and or the years, and then we see someone that's not even close to that one. Someone that's like stiff a little bit, but working so hard, and after like maybe a year, that dancer transformed
Yeah.
because she put the work.
Yeah.
He put up the work.
No, and also the talent person many times if they don't have a good teacher, what's gonna happen?
Sure.
The teacher gonna make them think they're so special, and now they think they don't even need to work as much.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, the teacher's supposed to be curious to say, how can I sparkle joy on this work? Make this person go like hungry
'Cause
from
then
now
they
on.
fly.
That's it.
Then
But
they
oh
fly.
no, you're very good. And then the person starts to say, because look, what happens if you say to a person that they're pretty, they're beautiful, they're pretty, they're beautiful. They start to doubt it on the mirror.
Yeah.
Am I that beautiful?
Yeah.
You know, it's not about even having the talent, but it's about the human being. Because like I say, if the guy is playing basketball and he's 5'5", 5'6", it's going to be hard for him. Yeah?
Right.
Even though maybe there's some, but
I think there's some positions that they don't have to be that tall.
yeah, but
Yeah. No,
But
that's
yeah.
in volleyball.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Show
know.
me one NBA player that is shorter than Junior.
Right.
Usually the non-talented person, if we can call it that, have to definitely work much harder.
True. And transforms. Most of the case, they transform into
Yeah.
an amazing artist.
And also talent. I never really. I know talent is exactly energy that you have. You have to learn to develop it better.
Right.
Yeah, because like going back to martial arts again, Khabib Nurmagomedov. It's all about because you're very talented and you work with many talent. Instead, I don't like to work with talent people. because they are lazy. They think they are better than everybody. They are late sometimes. You know,
But that's
like
not
that.
for all of
But
them.
that's not for all.
Yeah.
But many times
But I
when
get
your
it, yeah.
teacher say to you, you have more than everybody here.
Oh, that's a terrible teacher.
You know, but many times people do that.
Yeah.
People will, if you get, we should make an experiment and take cameras to a dance studio where very good dancers are going to be, and you bring a girl that have a typical amazing classical body and one that doesn't, or a boy, and you see how the teacher is going to immediately,
Yeah.
Right.
yeah. And I am the teacher that looked at the other one.
Yeah.
Me too.
Because
We are
I'm
like that.
thinking, I'm thinking, okay, hip openers, a little work on the foot. I'm thinking already like a painter, you know, like
I think we all
to
like the
fix
hard
the
working.
person.
if you work hard and you show that you really want to do, I think we see that right
Yeah,
away
yeah.
because we've been there.
Yeah.
And we
But
like the teachers that we had
if
that
you are-
really
you-
enhance
yes,
our fire, you know, in order to keep going.
Yeah, because you don't know what's going to happen. I have a friend, I'm not going to say the name, but I have a friend that everybody said he would never make it. And he made a career. Of course, he didn't become the ABT principal. He was very short. He'd have much less training. Don't have the lines.
Did he try
like
to be the AUT principal?
No, but that's why.
Maybe he could if he
Yeah,
tried.
sometimes it's
No, it would be delusional.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be
Okay.
because he's very short.
Right.
But that's why many short people got. But you have to have at least a standard to get in the top. Like this, you can be a good fighter, but to go to the UFC, you know, you have to be there are layers on the game.
Olympics level.
Yeah, you understand? So I'm not suggesting people to try to compete or becoming, even though if you want.
Right.
But my suggestion is to start to find some dance that sometimes we lose when we are just thinking about technique and fixing patterns. Yeah, we lose. Alan Watts say this: your mom look at you and see you very cute dancing. And oh my God, she can be a dancer. She's natural. And put on ballet 6 years after she's lost all this natural dancing.
Right.
And they spark on the eyes a little bit like afraid. No, how teachers can keep this brightness in the eyes, the whole,
The
Yeah.
light, yeah.
Let's go. Next one. Dancing is not a real workout.
I have a good idea,
Hmm.
a good memory.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
On the 90s, when I got my first job as apprentice in the SESI Minas in Belo Horizonte, there was a myth. Well, how these guys are like this? Because all the guys were muscular and ripped. What is this? Pas de deux. They dance duos and pas de deux and partnering. And after that, years, maybe a decade after, I was in Pennsylvania choreographing, and Sasha, Ukrainian choreographer and dancer, I said, what you guys did when you were dancing in Ukraine? And he was a big star, big name. And he said, no, class. And what was your workout? He said, oh, just class and rehearsals. So they didn't have workouts. But at this time, most of the dancers in the world have incredible athletic body. So dance could be a very good
It could
workout, even for, because when we spoke about this question first, in my head, I'm thinking about a workout good for cardio, for flexibility.
Right.
But if you think about it, for conditioning the body, you get a good pas de deux. Remember, there was a
Right.
Cuban version that the girl didn't even touch, a Cuban pas de deux that the girl didn't even touch the floor for like 5 minutes. On the end, my arm was like,
Yeah.
And also dance could be any type of dance, right? We're talking about ballet,
Yeah.
but let's say some people take Zumba classes. It's a workout. Anya and I, for instance, we went to Brazil this summer and we took
Oh, wow.
a jazz type of class.
That was
It was
workout.
hard.
We thought we were gonna die.
1
Like,
hour non
20 minutes. It was 1 hour and 20 minutes of class. I was looking at Anna like I was white, and I was like, Anna. So yes, it is a workout.
Yeah.
It depends, but it is a workout.
It can be. Dancing can be.
Last one. Dancing is all about memorizing steps. What makes it very false for me, because it says all about. Again, I'm very literal. It's not all about memorizing steps. This
Right.
is one of the things, but there's many other things.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm going to say something that, let's say, not only ballet. We're going to learn a dance for a video we're going to post. I need to learn the steps in order to feel good about what I'm doing now. So it's for me, it's about the steps until I can really be myself 100%. But if I don't know the choreography, I'm gonna look like a dumbass.
Right, but dancing, remember, dancing, not choreography. Dancing is all about memorizing steps.
Freestyle?
If
Yeah,
I put,
no,
if
it's
I
not
put a
about.
music, yeah, you're gonna just dance, right? You're
Yeah,
just
but
gonna
also
move.
it's not. I don't think it's just about that. It's also some person that say they believe that. No, these people don't. They like to criticize somebody. They say, they just know steps. They're not real dancers. You know, like it's all about steps for them. You know, very
Right.
interesting. One of my teachers, he used to have a very bad problem on his company because the director really. So there was 2 dancers that the director really liked. And they would arrive earlier, rehearse the choreography, change parts, and then when he would arrive, he have to learn from them. So he realized that they were changing everything, but because he was not one of the favorites, he couldn't complain and say, "What do you guys do?" And like was kind of like you have to take this and keep dancing and learning the new steps, the new so these guys were like, even though if steps were important for him, he would arrive there the other day and they would have new steps, you know. So yeah, the steps can be a problem. I started dancing with steps.
The hip hop thing.
Everything was other thing about steps. No, anyway, let's go.
No, that's it.
go on.
That's
That's
good,
the
that's good.
last one. Okay, so yeah, I finished my 5 things here.
Yeah, I don't like those lists.
Those are all limiting beliefs because
And
we all
myths and,
capable. We all
myth.
have the dancer inside of us, right? I like that.
I'm gonna finish this with, in order for you to dance or to understand and not having any of those
Limiting
limited beliefs, you need to always be curious. There is no such a thing as like you mentioned that in the other episode. You're talking about like being like a kid or actually we're doing the brainstorm.
The beginner's mind, or
Yeah, like if you want to do something, always go for it. Don't let other people tell you what you can and cannot do, because if we start talking about our lives here, we're always going to find places where at some point we were told by someone that we couldn't do what we do. And now we all did so many things that we wanted to do in the past, and we became professional dancers because we believe in what we do.
Yeah.
And I feel like just go for it. Go for it. Just
and
do
also,
whatever you have to do.
and sometimes we create excuse for our laziness, right? It's very easy to say I have everything, but because of this I couldn't make it.
No.
Or if I really take the time, I would be a good. And you have to have this specific body to be a dancer, or you have to have this to be a dancer. The truth is, you have to have guts,
Yeah.
the heart, and then anything is going to manifest.
That's it.
How we know? Fred Roach didn't make a career as a professional boxer that was like famous or anything. But then one day went back to the gym and started to give tips to the people after he retired. And suddenly today he's the most incredible coach of all time. Maybe not from all time, but one of the most amazing. Like he's on every book. He's coaching George St. Pierre, Tyson Fury, like everybody. And he was not a high-level boxer that everybody.
You're never gonna waste.
Say, you have to be.
You're never gonna waste energy on doing something and learning something. Never.
How many choreographers that are amazing, but they were
never
not
danced.
the best dancers.
Or not even dance. Teachers that never dance. We know a teacher that was a tap dancer, and then now he's one of the best ballet.
Yeah, like this. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, with that, we just want to thank you guys for watching. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. Leave us a comment if you do agree with those lists that we just talked about now. And we'll see you guys next time.
See you next time. All right, let's do it. 5, 6, 7, 8. Keep
on
on
dancing.
dancing.